Are you thinking about going to law school? Are you just fascinated with the legal universe and how things work? I am a law student in the state of California and I am in my second year. Subscribe, like, and share my videos, and I promise you're going to have a good time. Hello everybody, I'm going to do this quick video on what it's like to be a part-time law student and a working adult. So let's dive right into this quick shindig. So I'm going to give you, my perspective on the good, the bad, and the ugly of being a non-traditional law student. This video has nothing to do with being a full-time law student. This has to do with, working adults that have families, etc. So I work full time. I am a husband and I'm a father to 2 kids. And I wear several other hats that occupy my time. So there's no way that I could go to law school full time. So my program is part time and it's a 4-year program, whereas traditionally full time law students only have to go to school for 3 years. But given the complexity of my life and my schedule, part time works best for me. So you have to choose what's best for you. But for the purposes of this video, it's for part-time. Now, my number one issue with this program is time management because again, the complexity of my schedule, I have to do what's best for me. And sometimes I feel like I get spread too thin at times, so I have to really work on time management. Now, here's something that you got to ask yourself, because if you're working full time and or you're a parent, that's a hard job in and of itself, especially if you're a single parent. So if you're already barely able to keep your head above water and you're working and you're a parent or, whatever the combination might be, if it's already too much and you feel like you're going to explode, then I would say law school is not for you at this time. Now, down the road, it might, be a little better for you and you might be able to partake. But if you can barely manage at this point with working and or being a parent, I would not suggest it. Please don't do that. So here's some important questions that you want to ask yourself, because this is the real deal Holyfield. So can you read between 50 to 125 plus pages a week, attend classes on a regular basis and not miss too much class, devote at least 15 hours a week to studying, and obviously afford the cost of law school? Now, there's been times where I had to read like 160 and 170 pages a week. Now, if any of that stuff that I said, if it scares you, that's okay if it scares you. Then that just means right now it's not best for you to go to law school. It's okay. But just be honest with yourself. Okay. Now, every law school operates different. So there's no way that I can put all of the law schools into a bucket and come up with this whatever. But I go to school 2 days a week, 3 hours, for each day. And I have a midterm and I also have a final. So it works out for me. But again, it's all about time management, because if you, don't do what you're supposed to do, if you're not studying, you're not on top of your game, you are going to suffer big time, and you don't want that. Now, here's another big thing. Life happens. We don't have control of the future. We don't have a crystal ball to see. Now, kids get sick, you get sick, you work long hours, you have other commitments, etc. Now if your kids get sick a lot, you get sick a lot, or your work conflicts, if any of those things are real, issues, then maybe law school at this time might not be for you, because it's a huge time commitment. And if anything or things that constantly interrupt that learning process, it's going to be very, very difficult. Now, here's another point that I want to drive home with you guys. You cannot afford to get behind in your studies. So make sure if you're going to law school, you're going to be committed and your schedule allows you to be committed, because it's not like undergrad where you can just go get drunk with your buddies and then just study the night before a midterm and a final and think you're going to ace it. Law school does not work like that. Law school is a beast and it will bust you upside the head. So you have to respect the process, respect the learning process. Now, here's a good tip that I utilize. If you work the type of job where you have some downtime, take advantage of that and study. So, for example, instead of surfing the internet for 3 or 4 hours on your shift, study. Instead of sitting around the water cooler talking and gossiping about other people, use that time to work on your outline, work on law school stuff. You got to be creative. Now, here's something else. This is going to be the bad and the ugly. Sometimes it has been just so hard for me to study because, again, I'm a father. You know, your kids come in there bothering you. They want to play Power Rangers. They want to mess with all your stuff. It's like when you're not studying, they don't want to bother you. But then when you trying to do something important, here they come jumping off the walls. So you got to keep that in mind. So here's another thing, mental health. Law school, it is inherently stressful. So you have to work on that balancing act, and you want to make sure you're taking care of self-care, taking breaks and stress management, because if you're barely above water and you get into law school, you are going to sink. Here's another important point to think about. Count up the costs. Is the reward greater than the sacrifice? Because you're going to lose your weekends. You're going to lose a lot of your holidays to studying. You're not going to have the life that you normally live. You're not going to have that. It's almost like you're married to law school. So you have to think about that. And then also think about, the sacrifice that you're making now, it's going to benefit you later. So do something today that your future self will thank you for. Look at these people. They're all excited. They're excited because of, what they did in the past. So that's just a brief synopsis, just some things to think about. I don't want to make this video too long and just all dramatic and stuff, but these are just some things to just think about. So if you think you want to go to law school, just count up the cost.